And it also says, which I've highlighted, that Adam had lived 130 years.
Mm.
How?
I mean, every age in this first genealogy in the Bible is huge. Adam's 930 years of life, he only had his first son at 130, is like nothing compared to Methuselah, who then lives 969 years. Like they just keep growing to crazy ages. There is no obvious set answer to this. I have a few theories written down on the piece of paper in front of me, but any initial thoughts from you, Morgan or Josh?
Maybe they had like no concept of time, so they just like guesstimated it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that was like their time keeping and how they would mark down ages culturally differs from how we do it. So,
That is one of the theories, which is that an ancient year doesn't equal a modern year.
mm,
So perhaps instead of this referring to years, maybe it referred to months, or maybe it referred to seasons.
mm,
Because we know the Greeks often called a season a year, which is why some of the earliest Christians thought that this is what was going on here.
mm,
I don't think it quite works because assuming they have consistency in the way they mark the passage of time, even if it's different from us, it doesn't work. So let's say we pretend that maybe they thought that each year was instead a month. Well, that means that Enoch fathered Methuselah at age 5, if you divide his age by 12. But let's say we think that 1 year equals a season, for instance, then Noah fathered his sons at 125, which still seems insane.
still
And
old.
so there's no number you can just divide these by to get numbers that are therefore realistic or normal. And so you could always just argue there's no consistency, whatever. But if there's a consistency in how they measured time, it doesn't work that way for us. Like we just can't figure that out. Another theory is that the world before the flood was a dramatic different type of world
Mm,
that allowed for longer human lifespans. There's been a range of theories which you can't prove, from some type of water vapor canopy above the earth which protected us from the sun's rays, or a supernova that damaged the earth's original ozone layer. Like there's lots of fun scientific
mm,
theories that have no basis to them that could have accounted for a different world where humanity could have lived longer. Another option is tribal domination. So when it says that Adam fathered Seth, it means that Adam's tribe exercised dominion for 130 years until the Seth tribe arrived and started exercising dominion.
mm,
And so you can start to account for it that way. I think my favorite solution is to say that they were using figurative numbers
mm,
that represented something. And so the reason I think this is probably the best way of doing it is in Mesopotamia, where this is based, they used a base 60 number system. So that's why we measure things in seconds, like measure seconds and minutes in base 60, because that's the number system they used, is they
mm,
based everything around the number 60.
mhm,
And so when you look at the number system used in these ages, every age here is based on the number 60, or rather, it's based on the number 5, because 60 months equals 5 years. So everything is a multiple of 5 plus one or two sevens. And we already know that in a Jewish worldview, this number 7 is very, very important.
mm,
So every age here is a multiple of 5 plus a 7 or 2.
mm,
And so the odds of like a random distribution of people's ages all lining up in this multiplication of 5s and 7s is very, very small.
mm.
Like the chance of that being just the way people happen to live their lives and die at that age is shockingly small. So I think the numbers are meant to represent something. Unfortunately, what those numbers represent, I think, has been lost to time.
Yeah. Could we also say that, and it's more referenced in chapter 6,
Mm.
but sort of just to briefly touch on it, would it be more, could we also say that the point is that these people are living long lives and it's giving more emphasis on the reset that's about to happen as we get to chapter 6, with it where it's specifically stated that they will live shorter lives?
Yeah, because in chapter 6, when God says, I will limit man's age to 120 years, that is an act of judgment, but also another act of grace, because humanity had become so evil. He was limiting the amount of evil they could do in a lifetime.
Mm,
And so we're meant to see that the human lifespan is shortened as a measure of protecting everyone. It's interesting that you point out their long ages here as something to be seen in a different way, because most commentators I read about chapter 5 here says that the emphasis is on death. So
okay.
yes, we read this and go, wow, Adam lived to 930 years old. That's insane. That's crazy. But every single person on this list ends with, and then he died.
Mm,
And as you keep reading, we get focused on the huge numbers and what that could possibly mean. but instead, we're meant to focus on the fact that death is a part of the human experience. Every single one of these people died. And so, if we needed any evidence that the wages of sin is death, then this
Mm.
is our evidence.
True, because it's like saying, well, they got to this great number in age and then still died. It's not like they were out, like they got so far into it, and and they were still able to outrun it. It was like no, still still died at the end of it. Like no matter what age, like you get to, you still died.
Mm. And because of the sin of Adam, death is a part of the human experience.
Mm.
Anyway, I don't know if that run through of a few theories was at all helpful to anyone, but those are the best theories I could find to account for it. And unfortunately, it still doesn't give us an exact answer as to what is going on with the crazy ages we see here.